Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invictus Gaming versus Vici Gaming. This is part of the semifinals of the SinaCup Supernova. Dota. It's so awkward.
It's Supernova. No, sorry, SuperCup. Oh, no, SinaCup. SinaCup. Supernova Dota 2 Open.
Yeah.
So it says like the cup at the beginning. I don't know. We had a debate yesterday about whether Chinese tournaments and people use English names. They do, but they don't do it well.
They use more English words than Northern American teams use Chinese words.
It was New Element Esports Club. Like they have esports and club. Like this is next level.
I know. Well, that also explains why maybe they're in the loser brackets for now. But Vici Gaming versus Invictus Gaming is what we're going to be casting today. Both the supports, Invictus Gaming, face against their banned out. Now, they picked the Naga last game, but they don't want to deal with this game. But Wisp, Batrider, Elder Titan, these are the heroes that we're looking for. Batrider being a banned out for Vici Gaming. IG picks up Lifestealer, Darkster, and Weaver immediately. So no Elder Titan, it seems like, this game for RTK.
At least not first. It doesn't seem like he's a first stage pick or ban. It seems to be the second stage of picks where you get him. Or alternatively, you ban him in the second stage of bans if you think he's a big threat to your lineup. Which last game, I agree that for IG, if he was on an Elder Titan and a Spirit Breaker, that game would have gone very similarly as far as how the setup was.
But I think the reason that we're really not going to see him is the fact that Chinese teams has always ran him as an off lane, and I think Darkster takes up that slot. So maybe we'd look towards ROTK banning that hero out before perhaps IG grabbing it.
Yes, definitely possible. IG with the lifesteal pick up early, I feel like there's so many different ways you can go the lifestealer pick, just because you can take towers early with him, even though he's not like a directly pushing hero. But they're going to just pick up the Rubik, similar thing we saw last game. Second pick Rubik, especially after a Weaver pick. Suddenly this support hero becomes much more coveted. Yeah,
Rubik actually fairly good against Darkseer as well. If you can steal, for example, a Surge, that's already good enough. Iron Shell is always good for your team. But getting a Vacuum is kind of the prize spell, and that's going to be very, very annoying for Darkseer and Weaver to deal with. So we'll see where this draft is going to take us. So far, not really real indication of what any particular heroes. It looks like Tree is being banned out. I want to look towards Invictus Gaming picking up a Treant Protector, or not Treant Protector, a Chen as well as a Lone Druid. If they could get those two heroes, it's the OIG where they just push you to death, basically.
Yeah, doing that style of play, or the other one which I love was the Bounty Hunter, Sven, Lifestealer or whatever it was, the Night Stalker mid, like doing that full face rush where it's like all these mobile heroes are just tanky as all hell. You dive towers with like Sven Warcry, but unfortunately Sven has been somewhat taking a bit of a fall and a bit of a dip.
I didn't know they picked Sven, but I guess so.
They were it was like their whole face rush line. They had a Sven safe lane carry, Bounty Hunter off lane, and I think it was generally Night Stalker in the mid lane.
And so far I think these bans are setting up for it, because Treant Protector is a hero that basically prevents that face rush from happening. Bane Elemental, good for Nightmare toggling, or just Nightmare in general, and Feeble, things of that nature. So a ton of heroes making sure that Lifestealer is going to do his job, and whatever other heroes that IG is going to be picking is also going to do theirs.
Yep, well, there's no Spirit Breaker ban, there's no Elder Titan ban. Could we be seeing either of these two heroes? I really hope so.
I guess Elder Titan is one of those heroes that you have to feel somewhat practiced with, because he's not a hero that you could just pick up and then... Not like a skeleton king.
They already have the Darkseer as well. Like it doesn't feel like Vici Gaming can't really fit Elder Titan as an offlaner into their draft.
Oh, I meant for IG. I don't think they would just pick it up for fun.
I don't like it with the just with this Lifestealer type draft. I think you have to go more kind of
AoE based, perhaps.
Yeah, or like the Chen draft you talked about, or something where you're going super aggressive face rush lineup, which Elder Titan doesn't really fit into. So I don't think Vici Gaming are right, because they were actually the ones who banned it in game 1. So they believe that IG would pick it, just not this game. Right.
Well, IG is not going to have Chanex. They're disposable. Kreen and Pain is going to be okay on the mid. Puck's going to be fine. 430 has a ton of their heroes. Looking for a vehicle to bring that Lifestealer in, but as we see in the past, if Rubik ever gets to steal Sakuchi, well, there's your Lifestealer bomb coming out from a Rubik that's Sakuching in against the team. But Vici Gaming working with a ton of invisibility heroes. Are we going to see a Bounty Hunter perhaps as an answer to any of these Vici Gaming invisible guys?
Yeah, Bounty Hunter. Return of Slardar. If you want face rush, that hero has a ton of mobility and movement speed.
You know who's the king of face rush, right? Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
On the off lane. he will face rush you.
You could Spirit Breaker Lifestealer bombs. That stuff is legit.
That is legit. We saw Team Liquid bring it I think right after Spirit Breaker entered CM, and it was like amazingly effective.
Yeah. It still fits in this lineup. You have the Puck for mid, the Lifestealer safe lane, Spirit Breaker off lane. Let's see it, IG.
Or Spirit Breaker support. That's the thing that how
Yeah,
Western
yeah.
teams are running it. So, but seems like Chinese got a different flavor, different element with that hero.
I think they. It's almost like with like if you look at the way Alliance they play their supports not like supports. Like they get more farm on their supports than they do on S4 half their game. And I think the Chinese take a similar approach where their offlane heroes actually rarely get a lot of farm. They'll have their 4-5 position support heroes getting prioritized a bit more.
At the same time, I feel like Spirit Breaker is one of those heroes that you don't really need too much farm with. You just
That's where he's good in the offlane.
yeah, you get a bracer, or even that he's also good at support. If the support doesn't get farm, you just need the levels and just charge in. But not sure if we're gonna see one this game. Nyx Assassin and Weaver are your kind of two stable heroes. Very uninspiring draft so far from Vici Gaming, but we'll see how they kind of play this one out.
IG's not much more inspiring though. Razor comes out.
They got a Puck. Puck is at least somewhat
yeah.
interesting. And I think Puck's going to be leaning against Razor on the mid lane. Razor, in my opinion, should have that lane fairly easy.
Yeah, Razor, of course, very good against lifesteal, being able to steal his damage even when he rages, even when he infests. Correct? While you're infested,
yes.
He's still stealing damage. So, Razor just fantastic all-around hero against lifesteal. But you still have to, if you fall behind early, like we saw happen to IG last game, well, no amount of static link is going to save you.
Yeah, that's a big part to point out because what do these heroes do when they fall behind? Weaver doesn't do a single damn thing. Neither does Razor. Nyx Assassin is your support that's burst damage ganker.
He's not going to get Vendetta initiations when you're behind because IG will always have sentries or a gem eventually.
Well, we thought that about Vici Gaming pushing tier 2 last game.
They did most of the game. The number of times they actually killed Ferrari, it was just that one instance where they didn't.
Yeah, and they lost 4 heroes as a result. So look towards IG being prepared for these 2 invisible heroes. But yeah, if IG has good enough lanes where they could take advantage of the perhaps weak meat game of Razor as well as Weaver, they could do pretty well. And I think they're doing just that. Shrek, a support hero that we don't see too often. They're looking to get early kills with Lift and Split Earth as well as Lifesteal Open Wounds to follow up. And they're looking to get a ton of tower kills with Diabolic Edict. I think this is the way to go for IG.
Yeah, this is nice. They still need some kind of an offlane here unless they want to go actual offensive tri-lane here. But most likely they just use these 2 supports. So early game shut down the Darkseer and then great heroes for roaming towards the mid lane. As you said, Razor does beat a Puck mid, but Razor also has no escape mechanisms for a Rubik Leshrac game.
Well, maybe the passive, the little extra movement speed. If you don't get caught, that's
once that telekinesis hits, sure you're slowing the Rubik, but he's done the job. He's got the telekinesis. Leshrac's done.
Yeah, and everybody else will follow up.
It's a kill to me in my eyes. The only way is if you avoid getting telekinesis.
Yeah, perhaps that's why they're banning out the Treant Protector. They want to pick up these early game kills as well. So, Vici Gaming looking to ban out yet another hero. I think. I mean, are you predicting IG to go offensive try? I don't think this lineup is good enough to go offensive try.
I think it can, but if you do that, you have to have a 1v1 matchup, which is going to me, the reason you go offensive trial isn't because you want to have a incredibly strong offensive trial to win the lane. It's because you have better 1v1 matchups, which 1v1 versus Darkseer, nothing really wins or dominates.
Anti-mage wins.
Yeah, that's true. With some with a good pool.
I'm not sure if you want to go anti-mage this game though.
I don't think so. I don't think it's IG style so much, but they've got Hao, who's a pretty fantastic anti-mage player, and he's one of those players who will take those 1v1 matchups as a carry. So,
well, Clockwork's going to be the last pick up here. So
what
are we?
Jungle?
I mean,
Clockwork mid.
What are we? No. The question is, who are we looking at as a support?
Yeah.
Is it going to be Darkseer support, which we saw out of, I think, NE yesterday, which actually was fairly impressive and worked out. Got like a 13-minute mech despite being a Darkseer support.
Yeah. Or Dignitas do the support Clockwork. The
support Clockwork is actually insane. Like,
it's not bad.
When a melee Clockwork walks up to you in the off lane,
and
like it was just
throws cogs at you or battery assaults
No, he's just so let's say you're bounty hunter or Darkseer or whatever, and then Clockwork walks straight at you. You can't man fight him because you turn on battery assault and you get killed. So you just back off. So zoning wise, the support Clockwork is actually extremely impressive.
Yeah. I agree. It's actually not too bad in that sort of 4-position role. Something which I remember Fog played this hero as a 4-position support a number of times in like the Wii Play tournament, and Dignitas were doing really well there. So IG have one more pick though, and they now have an idea that this is going to be a dual lane, safe lane rather than a tri lane, and they picked Gyrocopter in fact. So offensive tri lane,
yeah, offensive tri.
Either that or it's just an off lane life stealer solo. But I think more likely, I guess Hao is 1v1 against a Darkseer, which isn't the most fun.
I mean, at the same time, if you look at the offlane lifestealer, what does he get killed by? He doesn't get killed by anything. I'm losing my mouse. How do I get this back? I don't see my mouse.
Good question. I don't know.
Kawa, help! Somebody. All right.
Hashtag Kawa.
Do I restart Dota 2?
Yeah, I think we're gonna quickly restart Dota 2 maybe.
Wait,
Once,
do I click X? If I click X, what happens?
what do you mean, which X?
This X.
Top right?
Yeah.
You leave the game.
You leave.
Guys, Lumi's missing a mouse cursor, so we're gonna quickly
Guys.
restart Dota 2 once camera's on us.
Dota
We're
2
good to go.
disband.
We're gonna restart Dota 2, guys. Bear with us. We just have players and heroes going out to the lanes right now, and
You could tell us who's playing who?
who are playing who. Over on the IG side, the Radiant side, we're actually gonna have Faith on Rubik, laning with. This is something different we didn't expect. Offensive trialing, but not with the Lifestealer. They're gonna run Banana, Leshrac, Hal, Gyrocopter, and Faith on the support Rubik. So it's an offensive trialing with Gyrocopter, which puts Lifestealer as a safe lane solo. So this is the 1v1 matchup against Darkseid, not Gyrocopter, but Lifestealer, who does it a little bit better.
I mean, yeah, to ask your question, is that 1v1 matchup in the favor of Lifestealer?
No.
Because
It's even at best, I'd say.
I mean, I think he actually will survive to level 6.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be basically give you a full HP pool.
Ferrari's mid on puck. Normally you see like a null talisman first. He's gone boots first as a solo mid. This is
It's basically becoming a standard item choice now against Razor mid. I got
Okay.
my you can see that Razor.
yeah,
on the
Razor
same
boots first.
exact same thing. Like you have to just have the movement speed to run away from the link or to run to apply that link. So mid is where you go boots first if there's a Razor in the game. So
Your curse is back, Lumi.
my curse is back. Yes.
Cool. Good to hear.
Yep. Let's actually introduce the Dire. I don't think you have done that here.
Nope.
As we have Clockwork, that's going to be ROTK Clock, a carry Clock up in the safe lane. Finrod's going to be playing Nyx Assassin. And looks like the FY is going to be jungling as a support Darkseid. We're going to have Super Boots first, Razor on the mid lane. There you go, Link forcing 430 back, and more damage being stolen. That's a ton of damage.
Yep.
Super Sense, thank you. Back on the bot lane, it's going to be Tutu, who actually off-lane Weaver, something that we don't see at all in the Chinese scene. Got a little bit of pulling action, and well, he's going to have a 1v1 so far. Doing okay.
These lanes didn't shape up how I'd expect them to. The only lane that did was the mid 1v1 matchup, which, as you said, Razor should win. That, especially that first static link giving him plus 21 damage, minus 21 to the puck, pretty much guarantees this first creep wave to go the Razor's way. But bottom lane, Lifestealer versus Weaver. We'll see Lifestealer pick up an early Magic Stick, which is a smart pickup whenever you're expecting that Shikuchi to be coming out, which you can also force out just by start right-clicking him, and he's got a Shikuchi to avoid that damage.
You know, a lot part of Tutu's laning is going to be spamming that Sakuchi, so eventually in that 1v1 man fight, it's going to be a big deal. Back in the top lane, looks like we had a little bit of harass. What do you think about the lane so far? I'm not sure whether IG's lane were the obvious one and Vici Gaming just read it and decided to lane it like that. It seems to be the case, and if you think about that, I think perhaps ROTK should be okay up on the top lane, despite in a 3v1 situation or 3v2 situation. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to get a lift off against ROTK.
Yeah, to me, they definitely expected this because sending the Weaver bottom is the much easier lane for him to actually farm. Top lane, he would be any lift and he's dead. So I think by sending him bottom, they guaranteed a lot more farm, at least in some kind of a way. Does have to contest against YYF. Maybe they were expecting a solo Gyrocopter bottom with YYF top, but either way, they're expecting this offensive trialing.
And again, Super having a very, very good matchup, just zoning him out. Double damage is going to spot on the top lane. I think Super will be getting that one as well. So Super
Boots don't even help, man. Like,
they don't. Well,
you
not.
need to go bottle first and just use your nukes to farm, maybe.
But your level 1 nukes or your level 2 nukes are just not impressive enough. So I think many kind of teams have tried different things against a Boots first Razor, and nothing is actually available. But back in the top lane, it looks like First Blood against ROTK.
ROTK caught out. And Nyx Assassin will, he's just going to back off to maybe try and do some pulls. But ROTK immediately TP back in. This trailer for IG, that's the kind of start you need when you go offensive trial. And getting a first blood like that can help so much, especially when these 1v1 matchups maybe aren't in your favor. Because going offensive trialing when you don't have 1v1 matchups in your favor, they're losing mid, slightly losing bottom. They're losing bottom as well in terms of CS. This is a big gamble for IG.
I'm not even sure whether they're winning the top lane. Oh, looks like Lift is going to follow through it. Spirit, is it going to hit though? Looks like not, but it looks like, well, huge damage output. ROTK is going to survive. Forces out the south. They didn't really use too much of anything. Perhaps Faith dropped a bit of mana. He needs to get clarity back up. But if ever 1-2-3 is in position, they are going to get the kill. So looks like our manager of Tongfu missing a step there over there.
Yep. Unfortunately. You mean 1-2-3?
Yes.
It's actually Banana.
Is it actually Banana?
Yeah.
Some people say it's a manager. Some people say it's Banana.
I'm pretty sure it's actually Banana.
Okay.
He's Banana's officially joined. It's just I assume he's arrived at IG's base camp, which I'm pretty sure he has. So I'm pretty sure this is Banana.
Well, whatever the case is, missed the kill. He does have boots now, which will make the next lift a little bit easier. Faith just needing the vision to get to apply that lift off. Fenrir, by the way, in position as well. Oh, Fenrir, gotta be closer. He's gonna get lifted. Spirit's gonna follow through, and the rocket barrage. Nice! Nice by Carapace, but I don't think it's enough. Finrar going back to the safety of Tower. Nice 2-man Impale. They're going to get one. RTK looking for a kill, but second Rocket Barrage is going to come through, and RTK should be that Surge going to come out, but the last that's going to actually get the kill. Tongfu out of mana at this point here. How? I keep calling him Tongfu, but how out of mana at this point? Not going to fire off another Rocket Barrage. This is why you don't mess with Gyrocopter in a melee range. He will just shred you apart.
Yeah, Gyrocopter doing fantastic here. Not just is he getting the kills and sort of winning this trial, but he's also got 25 CS this early on. He's leading the charge, and that's something which often, when you have that offensive trial and you're going for kills, you're sometimes giving up CS to do so, but not at all the case in this top trial lane. Yeah,
also back on the bot lane here, while we're having a ton of trouble, Magic Sig already used out of HP completely. He is nowhere near level 6. Or once he does get to level 6, he can invest back to full HP. You can see that Choo-Choo upgrading to a Ring of Aquila just with the extra plus damage and Gemini attack. He's just forcing YYF away from experience range.
Yeah, not going points in the Swarm. The extra point in Gemini attack, a great thing to do in a 1v1 matchup, especially when you're up against a melee hero.
Yep, and you can see that YYF can't even go into range. I think he might... Oh, I was going to say he might jungle his way back up a little bit, but he's going to just bring himself a south. But even the south, that's going to allow him to run in for 1 or 2 CS, in which case, before his HP goes back down. You can see Choo-Choo still zoning him away, full HP or not.
Yeah. He's healed up enough that he will get level 6 okay here, and then he can use that Infest to do some decent damage, maybe even try and bait in Tutu for a kill. And this is YYF's best hero, in my opinion. That lifesteal, he knows how to every little trick in the book with this hero.
Yeah, unfortunately, tricks won't help him here. He's getting out damage, he's getting out CS. Back on the top lane here, IG looking to set up a couple more kills. Really, really good lead, and very similar to the start that Vici Gaming support had last game. Their supports are well on their way to level 6. This is especially important for a support like Faith. FY also forced to make that rotation early to save his allies, in which case slows down his own mech, which is a huge deal as well.
Well, more damage being stolen at the mid lane. Razor plus 100 H damage. Puck, he's down in the negatives. This is absolutely brutal. But Puck, despite all this, is 22 CS to Razor's 27. So the static link doesn't really last long enough. And while it's on, you just use your nuke to farm. And then once it's off, you can just rely on your last hitting. Race to the top rune, though. Who's going to get there first? 430 just makes it. And Mancy turned around. He's going to Dream Call on 2. This is not looking good for Vici Gaming. There's a Leshrac here with level 2 Edict. Also has a stun. Can he land the stun? He's just waiting patiently to use it. FY stunned up. Perfect from IG.
Well, nicely played. Not many other supports will have the lockdown nor the damage output that Leshrac just gave you right there. Normally one of the most squishy heroes of the entire game, but able to actually bring down solo mid from full HP, and then follow up with the great splitter to actually kill FY in the jungle. I didn't feel like they were dominatingly ahead. Obviously they were ahead with 3-0, but now they are so far ahead. Back on the bot lane, the YYF still having a little bit of trouble after using Infest, still dropping precariously low. I think the second or the kill on FY and the fact that they drawn him away from the jungle is really what does it for me, because FY is their shining hope coming out of jungle with a quick mech to kind of secure them their mid game. That's not going to happen. Back in the mid lane, telekinesis lift into a tossback. Smurf's going to hit on top. Silence on top as well. And it looks like Super's going to try his best to survive long enough, but not enough because Faith survives with 10 HP. 1-2 survives with 100 HP, and 430 will survive as well.
Wow, they all got very low there, but they played that gank just so well. This middle lane is essentially one for the Puck, despite having a bit of a mismatch as far as the lane goes. Bottom lane's one for Vici Gaming, but IG don't seem to mind too much because these other two lanes are just going so well for them.
Yeah, and look at Clockwork. He's only level 5. It's going to hit level 6 after a single more creep die here on the top lane. And once that happens, he's got to start putting a little bit of pressure, maybe start by killing YYF on the bot lane. By picking up a teleport scroll. He will give his lane to a support that needs a level 6 a little bit more, but it looks like bot lane, speaking of which, teleport to support is going to come in. No, Hao's going to just take the lane.
YYF goes jungle, I guess?
Yeah, that's fine. He's going to invest back in the jungle, gets 4 HP, and maybe just sit there for a bit.
Yeah, this is a good plan for IG. They need the lifesteal to get some farm, just to get a Phase Boots Armlet up or Phase Boots Drum, and Tongfu can do... sorry, I say Tongfu. Hao can do okay against this Weaver. Weaver, though, does have level 8 with a ring of health, though, so he can trade hits very efficiently, while Gyrocopter has no HP regen of his own. Yeah, and the way that Gyrocopter deals a ton of his damage is through burst damage, so Choo-Choo could always just backtrack and get all of his HP back, essentially, so... Yeah. We'll see how Hao is going to handle this lane. I imagine we'll see a gank coming towards that Weaver fairly soon. Either the two supports go for a gank, or maybe Ferrari goes trying to use that silence to get a kill on bottom. Yeah, maybe they're going to try to set up kill on mid lane here. Looks like Dream Coil is going to break on Super. Looks like Stun's going to come in. 2-man stun, as well as YYF getting blocked out on the back. Not sure how RTK got out himself, but
Looks like the return kill coming out from Tutu, perhaps. Iron Shell and Surge is going to be necessary, but can you die past the tower? Yes, he can. Tutu going for the kill with a Ring of Aquila, and will he get it? No, looks like not. Tutu will survive there as well. YYF, with the Magic Stick toggling, will be back up to about 150 health.
Yeah, so still 7 unanswered kills for IG, and when you talked about last game, not many teams can come back from 10-0. Only Na'Vi have done it, but this is 7-0, but the Golden XP is dead even. Gold graph 250 in IG's favor. XP 0. This is not really a lead. They're just getting kills, but Vici Gaming are getting a lot in return, it looks like.
Yeah, I think Vici Gaming is much more well-equipped to deal with the deficit with the heroes they have. Because if you look at what they got, the only hero that really requires farm is Weaver, and he's got farm. He's able to dominate YYF on the bot lane. Secondarily, Razor's one of those heroes that, surprisingly, that has skipped his ultimate, which shows you the fact that he's not really surviving too long in these engagements. Not too bad. He's got Phase Boot and a Magic Stick as well, working towards his next big item. I feel like these two heroes that need farm is getting the farm, and the heroes that need experience is also getting it. Nyx Assassin getting the free lane now. Now that RTK has left, RTK is himself level 6 with a hook available, and of course, last but not least, FY in the jungle, level 8. He's got his buckler and a headdress, so I feel like Vici Gaming, despite down by 7 kills, they're very well equipped in terms of coming back into mid game.
Yeah, fully agree here. We'll see where they look to go with this. Darkseid, like you said, if he gets a fast mech up, he's just going to turn this game around very fast, and he is so close to that mech. And, well, Super finds the 10-minute room. Going to just be a regen top. Not going to make much happen with that, but it looks like bottom lanes where IG are trying to make their next mark, but they get scattered out by an illusion of Clockwork. So Clockwork, he knows they're there. He knows what's up. His team can start rotating if they want to, but I think IG are happy maybe just to go for a push instead. They can use the Edict, which is now level 3.
Yeah, I think going for a push is okay, but at the same time, doing it against a Clockwork might take a little bit too long of time to make that push actually worth it in a sense. Rocket Flare is going to come out, and that's, well, scouting everybody out from the IG support. And knowing the fact that there's 2 IG support on the bot lane allows, for example, ROTK to now maybe go for a kill on the mid. I really don't think they can get Puck unless you could bait out him using his orb on a creep wave or something. And it looks like RTK is going to just roam back his jungle and perhaps get some farm elsewhere.
Yep, I like what Fenrir is doing. He's just sort of jungling with the Darkseid. Darkseid's already level 8, approaching level 9. He doesn't need the XP so much, so sharing it with the Nyx Assassin will help him get that level 6 as well. And once he's level 6, then you can see those Vendetta ganks happening, and IG will have to be ready. They'll need to get that Sentry Ward smack dab in the middle lane as soon as possible.
How do you feel about the mana-less build, mana burn-less build coming out from Finrar? This is not something we see too often.
Especially, it's a mana burn especially good against the Puck in general, but it's interesting. You get a bit more stun.
I mean, what does that second point of Spike Carapace give you?
Stun duration?
Right.
It's quite a decent stun duration.
Why do you need it in a situation like this? I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Well, you don't need the mana burn right now in the jungle either. He's not really... We haven't seen... Has he been involved... Well, no one's been involved in any kills.
Yeah,
because
there are no kills.
Has he been involved in any kills? No.
But I mean, the problem is, yeah, it's not going to be that good right now because mana burn, you're not hitting anybody. But come level 6, you really need that extra damage output if you want to set up a kill. And here we go, Blink Dagger up on our Puck, and suddenly even Weaver, even Super, who should be dying more, will die more with the setup spell of Blink Dagger.
Well, that's a Darkseid mech over on the dire side for Vici Gaming, so I have to see what their plan is. I don't feel like they have the lineup for 5 man, so even though they've got a mech, I feel Darkseid's just going to try and just focus on smaller scale classes, or at least Vici Gaming in general. They want to just get Weaver his items that he needs, Razor as well. They've got this sort of dual tri-core type strategy, which they don't have to just take 5v5 fights right now.
Well, nobody's really looking to take any fight just yet. Faith is safely farming under the Protectionist Tower. Courier goes to Seeker Shot. We'll kind of see what it picks up. It picks up nothing. And I did hear a Life Slur and Fetch Bomb. Yep, it's going to be 430 with YYF inside of him. It looks like they're going to try to kill up top 2-2.
This is an easy kill for them if they can get the Blink Silence off. But Weaver, he pushes out a creep wave, immediately retreats. So just Rubik showing himself in the top lane. And Weaver probably doesn't have much interest in going out to the T1 tower to farm, knowing that Puck is very, very dangerous at this point in the game. I don't think they've actually seen the Blink yet, so if he can get a kill with this first Blink Silence before he shows himself on the map, it'd be great for IG.
I think not seeing Puck for about a minute on the map, it's essentially seeing a Blink already up. I mean, nobody is going to be seeing that back end. But if you look at the engagement party up top, we have Sakuchi to initiate with Lift, but, well, he's not there anymore.
Look at bottom lane. It's actually a smoke from multiple Vici Gaming heroes as well. They were trying to sniff out Hao, but much like the Weaver noticed at top lane, Hao noticed at bottom lane that there's something wrong.
Oh, and 430 makes a TP, sees Hao in the bot lane. Hao thinks Tutu thinks he's safe. 1 TP, silence up on top, the orc flies through, and well, Tutu's dead. Nicely played here by 430. stalking the Weaver all across the map.
The Vici Gaming take this fight? I think that'd be a big mistake, especially when Shinkuchi has been stolen by Faith.
Well, here we go. Finra didn't get to initiate. The hook is going to miss as well. The Idol Storm being dropped. 3-man, 2-man Dream Core. Caldown's going to hit. Burst a vacuum. Nothing just yet. The Mech pops him back up. I think that might turn the fight. YYF locking in. Being locked in by ROTK, but not enough here as we see 430 getting 1 kill. He's going to get dropped down. 2-1 straight so far here. Looks like we have a buyback coming out from the Razor. Not really sure whether they should continue to engage because ROTK is dropping low. Tongfu looking for a little bit more kill. Black Cannon. Oh, wow, what a play here from Banana. He's looking for a little bit more. Super already bought back. FY's dropping low as well. One more hit's going to do it. Yes, the slow coming through the vacuum. Yes, he's going to get one more kill. Damage being drained here by Super. In fact, he's hitting for close to 120. Not enough to pierce through YYF, though. He's going to turn around and start life-stealing away. 2-2 coming back in as well. Swarm's going to come through. YYF does have Infest. Goes in the safety of a creep, and there's nothing they can do about it. Huge victory for IG, but at least Vici Gaming put themselves back on the board.
Yeah, and Leshrix actually healed himself up. He's already got an Urn of Shadows as a support hero, so he's ready to go back in despite surviving that fight on 50 HP. YYF, nice little impale dodge there, and here comes the call down from the Gyrocopter. Unfortunately, not going to land, and Vici Gaming looks like they may avoid any further casualties here in the bottom lane.
Good steal here by Faith, looking to get the Vendetta instead he got his, I think, Impale as well. Impale actually from Rubik is actually a great spell because he's casting them with 0 delay time. I'm very surprised that Vici Gaming is just piling men on the spot lane and trying to make this work again and again. I mean, they have the mech, which is the biggest reason for them to do so, but I'm not really sure whether it's going to work the way they want it to. Time-lapse being stolen this time here as Faith getting rocketed. Do you make that jump if you are ROTK? Well,
I think that was another big thing that attributed to Vici Gaming's loss of that last fight was that starting missed hook shot. You really need to get RTK into the middle of things, get a cogs off to sort of just for some good crowd control, and then take the fight from there. But missing that hook shot was very costly.
It looks like they're going to try to yet once again dive this tier 1 tower. They do have Ring of Protection turned on here. Oh, Clockwork Hook's going to hit this time here. And Babe, time-lapse, but he's not going to survive that longer. Well, he's going to survive a little bit long enough. RTK still okay here, dropping quite low. They're going to melt the Gyrocopter as well. Immediate buyback from Leshrac. He's going to TP back in RTK style against 3 or 4 heroes. Here comes Leshrac. They see Super trying to get a little damage deal. 2-man splitter from Banana. Huge play. 2-2 silence. And he's not going to drop off his ultimate either. Great play from Ferrari. And the IG heroes are back.
Yeah, that was a perfectly timed waning rift just as he was casting that time lapse, and 2 heroes dead on the Vici Gaming side. Darkseid did a really nice play there as they were diving the tower, using that mech to sort of keep ROTK alive a bit longer. It actually saves ROTK's life. But Vici Gaming just don't really have a good way to retreat quickly and get away from these stuns, and the blinking puck with a Dream Call is just going to catch anyone out who's trying to escape.
Yeah, Vici Gaming lost 2 cores in the form of a Razor as well as a Weaver, but again, it goes back to what we talked about. Vici Gaming could take these fights, and with the mech available, they're saying, you know what, let's keep diving those towers. Let's keep diving those towers. At worst, they drew out a buyback from Banana, but let's not be said that Vici Gaming has won that fight. They definitely lost it, but I still think that the decision to take fights is still correct.
Well, looking at the Golden Experience graph, still so even between these two teams. Less than 1,500 gold advantage going the way of IG, and not a single tower on the map has fallen as well.
And considering that you're down by 9 kills, that's actually very impressive for IG. If you look at the last 6 cards here, Darks are leading up over anybody else. Now, consider that most of those are neutrals. Not too impressive to talk about. Puck as well as Gyrocopter leading ahead of net worth. Meanwhile, we have Weaver as well as Darkseid falling in. Super is just non-existent now. I mean, he was winning the lane through lanes, and this is something that we talk about a lot for Razor, but if he has 2,900, 3,000 net worth in 18 minutes of farm, he doesn't give you anything as a hero.
He's got 5 deaths to his name, which is really tough. There was just such great focus and attention on him at the middle lane. There was actually a hook shot there from RTK, completely whiffed at the mid lane. Excuse me. But smoke from Vici Gaming at mid. They're looking to take the fight to IG, and I think they're confident. They see the score. They're 9 kills behind, but they look at these items and say, hey, we've got mech, we've got this good team fight. Level 4 Impale, we should be able to actually take fights, even though IG are leading right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether they should have smoked immediately with the hook on cooldown, because even if they know Leshrac is in the position that he is in, how do you get to him? Smoke's gonna break, so they should know. Rocket Flare should easily check it out. These heroes.
They're so close yet so far.
Oh,
this is like 200 range away.
I mean, RTK wish he has Flare. BKB finish, that's a huge deal, because Rocket Flare's gonna check out 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's dead. He is so dead.
Stun only gonna hit in the
but here comes the TP. We need a wall drop down immediately. Kung Fu BKB coming out from Hao. He's going to focus on Super draining the damage, so at least doing something. We have Faith being dropped down on the back line here. In fact, it's going to be Hao on the run, and so is 430. 430 just start out with Impale, man. There's Impale to start through. Don't let him face anything. He's dropping low. He's going to get brought down as well. Again, Vici Gaming without Hook, but the fact that they have mech is allowing them to take this team fight. RTK misses that one.
3 in a row he's missed.
I think that was a good miss because he probably would have died under the tower.
I think it was a blind hook as well. Like, he didn't have any vision of any of those heroes. But what a great fight coming out from Vici Gaming. They killed the left Draken. The problem with the triple TP under the tower is they don't all come at once. It's one by one. The first one comes in 2 seconds. The next is 2 seconds later. Then another 2 seconds later. So Hao TP's in alone, and he loses all this damage to the static link. Even though he's not going to die TPing in first, he's not going to have any damage output apart from his ultimate. Razor gets off a perfect static link. And then the next TP, I think, was Rubik, and he gets exploded.
Yep. I think Faith, in fact, died first before anybody else in that engagement. So Vici Gaming playing well. And going back to Super, we talked about, maybe I take back what I said, that he doesn't add anything to his team. It doesn't look impressive on his score as well as item choice, but I mean, he's been linking YYF as well as Hao repeatedly in these team fights. So you're basically essentially taking out a single hero throughout the game. But here we go, ROTK looking for a vacuum. I think Banana, at the very least, is going to be dead. Vacuum's going to hit on 2 and call down. Well, Luxury Spike character is going to get dropped off. Oh my god, the call down just killing everybody. There's no Link in this team fight, at least not long enough. Here we go, the Link's now applying a little bit of pressure on Hao. Damage being drained, but at least damage has already been another miss hook here. 430's on the run. The Bug's trying to do a little bit of work. It's going to go to the left. The last of the attack going to get dodged. The Bug's still doing a ton of work.
I think he's still dead, yeah.
Oh, Tutu's going to get the kill. Nicely done.
Yeah, Clockwork ROTK actually snagged one. Meanwhile, though, the mid T1 tower goes down. Leshrac secures that one with Diabolic Edict. And Puck, Ferrari, he's buying back. He wants to fight. It's because he's got Dream Control. It looks like at least ROTK should go down. He's trying to TP out.
Oh, the coil.
Ferrari says no. ROTK going to get chomped to pieces by YYF's Lifestealer, and Weaver survives though, so 2-2. He's got 2,700 gold. He just buys something, probably an ultimate orb to go with that Perseverance if he start building towards the Lincoln Sphere. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Fenrir, he's scouted Hao, and how much HP has he got? Not enough to survive the Weaver as well. Gyrocopter takes a fall, and that is a really important kill for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, it's okay considering that he's got his BKB, but I think Gyrocopter is definitely looking for his next item. And kind of picking him off in the jungle, and then farming his jungle is a huge deal for Vici Gaming. Again, suddenly the score is 18-11, which doesn't look as bad as like 14-2 or something like that. And again, the goal graph is very, very close by. I still think that Vici Gaming has a team fight advantage, considering the fact that they have mech over the mechless Faith or 1-2-3. The one thing I do want to point about, during that mid lane gank where Faith was able to steal a Spike Carapace and spike like 2 or 3, allowing Hao to make that TP in and then turn the team fight around. I think Faith won them the team fight despite dying there.
Yep, well, Faith is... This gem on him will not last very long. I think he wants to pass it to Ferrari as soon as possible. Yeah, Ferrari takes the gem. Faith, with 777 HP, does not want to be the one carrying that. But Vici Gaming taking their first tower of the game. Both teams only missing 1 tower right now. This game very back and forth, and it really doesn't feel either team has much of a lead right now. If anything, Vici Gaming is showing they can hold their own pretty well here. The one thing they're lacking to me is Razor with some farm. He needs a BKB as fast as possible.
Yeah, the problem that Super has right now is, I mean, he's doing fine right now because the Link is still doing a ton of work. He's stealing damage and things of that nature. But eventually, if Super doesn't have any items, that Link is not going to carry him all the way through the late game. In fact, sooner or later, YYF or perhaps the Gyrocopter is going to just attack him through that link and even kill Super. So that's a huge concern if you're playing Razor. He's going to go BKB next, which again, more survivability, but they just need damage. And I don't think Weaver is doing enough either. Oh, 2-man silence, 2-man coil, and well, both of them are dead. I'm not sure why they think they can walk up a cliff like that, but looks like the backline, they're still going to take a team fight. No buyback, just coming out of vacuum. He's going to hit on a couple of guys, but they just need a retreat.
Where's Puck? Puck's got the gem. He's going to give Vision of Fenrir. Fenrir's going to turn, Impale. He's got the Carapace up as well, but there's no surviving that one. And Vici Gaming...
Really poor team fight.
Yeah, that was... Until that point, I would have said Vici Gaming were sort of in this and keeping it very even, but with that, IG take a bit of a lead here. Vici Gaming now know this gem is up and know they have to be a bit cautious, but these Infest Lifestealer bombs shouldn't be made that easy, because that was just the easiest 2-hero initiation that Ferrari's ever seen. I mean...
2 heroes initiation aside, that's going to happen from time to time, but what surprised me is the fact they lost 2 heroes up the ramp, and Vici Gaming thought still it was a good idea to take a team fight. Without Clockwork Cook, what does your Darkseer really provide you? I mean, they're trying to win a team fight off a Darkseer Vacuum Impale, and that's not going to cut it, so The decision for Vici Gaming to still continue fighting and then losing yet another hero beyond that is what surprised me the most.
Yep, well, IG back to the farming board as we have Lifesteal at mid lane, YYF with he's had his armlet for at least that last fight and now working on his next items, and how he's had 20 like around 2,000 gold for some time just sitting on the BKB. Probably start seeing either Butterfly or a MKB come up next.
I think you want
or Lifesteal.
It's hard to call. I think Lifesteal is not the item of choice. Sure, the plus armor is good against Eye of the Storm as well as Swarm, which minus armor is a way to bring down Gyrocopter BKB, but he's also needing to have damage. I talked about the static link from Super being a very annoying part, and if you go Helm, well, I don't think the plus 10 or 20 damage there is enough.
Yep.
So maybe I'm look towards him going at MKB, which is a very standard trend.
IG almost have their mech. They're going to get this T1 tower, and if Leshrac gets this, it's his mech. He's going to get the tower kill. He's got mech, and we've sort of mentioned Vici Gaming have been taking these fights and doing alright because they've got a mech versus the mechless IG. Well, that now all changes. Banana, 4 Earn Charges mech, he's got all the healing that IG need. Yeah, and the healing is going to be especially against important against Vici Gaming. Again, we've talked time and time and time again, what do they have for damage? They have a Weaver, which has a Lincoln Sphere. They have a Razor, who has no items, and they have a Clockwork as a core, who's been missing his hook. So the damage output of Vici Gaming is going to be non-existent. This Darkseer is going to do a ton of work. Meanwhile, IG's got AC Sunwar, Sunwar is dead. Gem didn't work. This gem pickup was such a smart choice from IG. Even like 20 minutes into the game, it's going to make a nice little difference here. RTK actually going to find Faith, get a kill, but here comes Hal, the big bad Hal. How does he do it? Call down BKB, tearing apart the Vici Gaming squad. Darkseer going to buy back. He's already dropped the wall though, and IG haven't sustained a whole lot of damage. YWF trying to armlet toggle his way out of this one, and he's going to do just that. No problem at all.
No more hook to follow through, and it looks like Super wants a little bit more. 1-2 getting focused down about Habit, Mech keeping him alive as well. 2-2. I mean, they just don't have enough lockdown, it feels like. They're playing in circles around IG, and IG now blinks back out. They're still chasing Vici Gaming. If they don't have anything, they have Persistent. YWF invests back into a he's gonna, nice vacuum backwards, and Call being drained. He's down to very low. He's gonna have to fight his way out, but lacking damage. Still man fighting. Super's gonna be the first one to drop. YWF, like you said, knows his hero back and forth. He's gonna armor toggle, and it's gonna survive that as well. YWF, our hero in this team fight. My goodness.
Vici Gaming just can't finish off heroes, and that's something which they should be able to do. When you've got a Weave, though, you should be able to just finish off those low HP heroes, but the gem is just zoning him out, and IG just have enough disable and lockdown that Weaver can't really chase into it. Here
comes the Swarm here. Clockwork is going to hit, and there's going to be the first kill, but here comes a TP from YYF. RTK dropping low, and here comes the Lifestealer. He sees our RTK, 2-chop. He's dead. Looking for a little bit more here. FY popping a mech just for him. Sounds not exactly what you want to do it. 1-2-3 is going to find 2-2. What a slurp! And 2-2 cannot drop off time lapse. Well, that was a great pickoff.
Well, Fenrir and FY near this bottom river needs to be careful because there is a gem on Ferrari if he goes searching, but IG now, decisive lead going their way. Finally, for the first time in the game, we see the gold graph just starting to skyrocket up. 5,000 gold lead. It wasn't easy for him, but now they're making it look a lot easier with these item pickups. Basher onto the Lifestealer, not to mention hitting level 16. Ferrari's level 14 with 2.7k gold. And, well, Howie's picked up an Eagle Song.
Yeah, and to answer your question, what is he going to go for? A Butterfly. Butterfly, actually, it might be Shotgun as well, considering that Vici Gaming just has...
Shotgun?
Why not? Like, there's just no damage. Go full Loda.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
No, go full... Loda goes Shotgun all the time on
BKB Shotgun?
Well,
it's more like a late game shotgun, would you say? Or I have not seen him go shotgun all that much.
Yeah, I don't think I have seen any Chinese.
I think I've seen it once.
Chinese gyro to go shotgun before, but I feel like they're so far ahead, and whatever they get is going to be good enough. Butterfly is probably what he's going to end up getting. But hindsight's 20/20. But let's actually examine the decision for Vici Gaming to chase from the mid tower all the way to the all the way over here. Well, is that a good chase? Because they couldn't kill a single damn thing. Between Armor Toggle, Rage, your Puck blinking, Sakuchi being stolen by Rubik, and their kind of persistence in chasing without really good stuns is really costing them.
Well, IG are making a good case for a game 3 here in this best of 3. Sorry, not Tom Cruise. Vici Gaming taking game 1. We're going to see the mid-tier 1 tower actually get denied by the Gyrocopter. He's going to go in with the BKB ultimate, but they've already lost Puck. Gem is on the ground as well. Nyx Assassin has picked it up, but he needs to get out. If he can, he do it. Gyrocopter's chasing. He gets the kill. Gem back on the ground. RO2K. Someone needs to pick it up. It looks like they do so, but a well-placed wall of replica Going to prevent IG from chasing in, and Banana going to take a fall in the river, it looks like. Leshrac goes down, ROTK to survive, but Ferrari with a buyback, he wants Super. Super's got nowhere to run until ROTK blocks out the IG team with a great cogs. It comes at the cost of his own life. 2-2 and YYF having a bit of a man fight. I don't know if YYF can get out of this one. There's a vacuum.
He's got Armatago. Yeah, Armatago says get out of here. But he can't toggle out of this one, or can he? Still attacking, still life stealing. He's got to kill that bug. He does kill the bug and will continue to Armatago. 2-2 does not have armor of his own. He's out of time lapse as well. He's got the gem on him. He's got a Sakuchi to the north. One more orb's going to do the mech coming up from FY. Both team playing insanely well. 2-2. Just 2 more hits away. The call down's going to completely miss. 2-2 still running to the left. He's got a teleport scroll. He can't make it home. He can't make him. Will he make him? Silence gonna miss as well.
That was close.
My God, 2-2's gonna be okay. Well,
what a mech.
What a mech coming from FY.
FY survives as well.
But
goes back in the jungle.
To me, the more impressive thing is YYF armor toggling through Swarm and every other spell in the game. And but I mean, Vici Gaming, I consider that one their victory. Super died and buy back, I believe.
Is armlet toggle too strong? I don't think people thought it was that strong until they started seeing like the toggle scripts that you can do, so it's like instant, and even with like rot on you, you still survive when you armlet toggle.
What is the toggle script? Educate me.
It's just like you can bind the key in your console to basically push the armlet button twice, because normally you double click it or you hotkey it twice, which is like a slight delay. But if you have like a one button on and off, it's instant. So you could have 3 damage over time spells on you, and you can still get an armlet toggle off.
I'm pretty sure that sounds like it shouldn't be in the game.
It was like a big post on Reddit. It was like top of Reddit. Everyone was kind of complaining and saying armlet toggle's getting ridiculous now because all these scripts are there. So I'm just wondering what your opinion is. I think all you need to do is add like a half-second delay before you can turn the armlet back on or something.
No, I like armlet toggle because it gives you involved skills, right? If there is no script where you have to kind of do it just with your fingers alone, then I think, hey, why not? Because it's a item activation that rewards a good reaction time and skill, much like BKB dodging a stun, for example. But if you have a script involved, then it suddenly becomes very cheap. I mean,
it's kind of like invoker scripts, I guess. Like a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people have like they basically set up a script so that they push one button and invoke to a spell rather than having to push like 3 or 4 buttons.
For example, you don't see Dendy using invoker scripts.
No, you can get away without.
So I think much similar in the vein that we have a range indicator being removed from the console. I think this is going to be the next thing over. RTK hooks in. He finds 1, 2, 3. Is he going to pop the mech for himself? Not just yet. Maybe he's being forced to. There you go. 2-2 with the front line. He's got a mech. Blink Dagger coming on the back line here. YYF going to work against Super. Draining a ton of damage, but it's not going to be enough. YYF's going to get the kill. Meanwhile, back in the bottom line, Darkseid's going to get picked off as well. 2-2 runs in, and he just won a 1v18 by now, but YYF, 1-hit bash, 2nd hit, and can he time-lapse? He cannot. Age is being used. Both these heroes very low in terms of HP, gets turned back up, and Silence comes to 2-2's on the run now. Can he actually get the Sakuchi off? He gets lifted instead. Great play from Faith, and Super's going to get picked up after buying back as well. That's a huge team wipe. Nobody dying from YYF team.
That was an Aegis as well.
Yep, seven deaths on Vici Gaming, counting the buyback and Aegis. Insane play from IG.
7 deaths, they steal the gem. They put themselves well ahead of Vici Gaming in this game number 2.
I really like the decision to run in and force out the mech from Leshrac, because it forced out the support mech just on himself, and then you take a team fight, that's good. But at the same time, the Blink Dagger from 430 caught the entire clump of Vici Gaming here on the back. And YYF, I mean, wasn't he losing his lane?
This is standard YYF, like, beyond godlike lifestealer. Not a single death. 9-0 and 14 on this hero. They're breaching high ground, and as you said, he was losing his 1v1 matchup to a Weaver. It's a tough matchup that lifestealer does lose to a well-played Weaver, but here he is, bouncing back, taking Raxes at 32 minutes.
Clockwork Hook comes in. They want
crazy hook if I've ever seen one.
Nice force staff. I mean, that's an ROTK hook, but can he make it out himself? That's yet another 2-3-man dream pull. Didn't we have a team fight just like this? YYF, again, doing damage on the front line. Huge infest. AoE damage galore. 2-2 runs in. He wants Tong Fu Hao or IG Hao. He's going to get him this time. YYF being forced to TP out. No stun to actually stop him. Well, not too bad of a fight as a recovery team fight just after losing one. They still lose a melee rack, so that's a fair victory if I ever seen one.
Yeah, and Ferrari now with a hold on his gem once again, so this is going to be something which is hard for Vici Gaming to go up against. And Lifestealer, this is YYF's favorite item on this hero. Picks up the Sanjin Yasha. He's the one who pioneered the Sanjin Yasha Lifestealer, and he's pulling it out again here.
Yeah, Sanjin Yasha is one of those items, if you're looking to end the game in 35-40 minutes, just gives you so much stat for this stage of the game. It doesn't give you insane damage, it doesn't give you insane stats in a much later game, and the item does scale off. But for a hero like Lifestealer, that's movement speed is really all he wants. Attack speed is all he really needs.
Especially when you're not the main carry on your team,
Right,
you've got the gyrocopter there as well. If you're playing that one position lifesteal, some teams will drop a one position lifesteal and have no other carries, like they'll have mags and darksies. Then you can't really go this item, but this game it's perfect.
Fnatic era still does, and they still win games with it. So
they also lose games with it.
That's true. That's true.
And lifesteal does not lose many games, Lumi.
Era's Lifestealer is one of my favorite Lifestealers in the European scene. So shout out to that guy. Hopefully that Fnatic's gonna have really good showing this year as well. I mean, Western Dota is looking insanely powerful. How is Eastern Dota looking like? How's my Chinese Dota?
Well, we've had 2 days, and they're bringing out the Space Cow. So I'm excited for what's to come.
I mean, as much as I like to see 18 kills and 35 kills, it also, on the other side of the same coin, it speaks how sloppy this game has been, right? So, I'm not sure.
So you're calling Western Dota sloppy because this happened in Western Dota?
It's sloppier. Shots fired, but it's true.
Fine. No. It's a different. Yeah, it's more high risk.
It's more high risk. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's how you win TI, so you know that's how it goes.
I don't think Alliance played high risk.
They don't play high risk.
Alliance played 0 risk.
They play for PL, Keeper of Light.
Not even aside from picks, like their playstyle is just perfection. They make 0 mistakes. They are like just the definition of efficiency with how they play.
Well, then
Oh, Blink Silence, infested Lifestealer at the top lane. They've got the gem. Easy pickings for IG. Didn't even need to bash RNG that time.
Yeah, they threw a Hex on top of him. Or actually, how did they break the Lincolns? What breaks the Lincolns? Oh, open wounds, I guess? Yeah, open wounds broke the Lincolns.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that they needed it.
Yeah, you don't really need to, but... This is looking like we're going to start seeing the end of Vici Gaming. Tower's starting to fall. This tier 2 tower at top is going to be the next target for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, not the ultimate end, because we might be going to a game 3 if Vici Gaming decides to drop this one. I don't see them having enough damage at this point. If we look at Razor, he's got an Ogre Club. He's had that Ogre Club for like days. And then we look at Weaver, who's doing okay, but also has been dying a ton in these team fights. Oh, TK, uh-oh. He's gonna get silenced, open wounds. Nice force that back out though. No follow up here from his allies. Well, that's fine. Like RTK survives, but to me it doesn't really do anything for the team.
Hooks Cogs isn't really saying huge to worry about for Invictus Gaming as far as pushing in the high ground here, and Cogs is gonna slow him down a little bit, but they'll just wait it out.
Yeah, it will. I mean, RTK, if he decides to hook in, that's gonna be definitely. He does have force up and Ghost Scepter. That's gonna be a good survival tool. Benmar trying his best to kind of delay this with things like Spike as well as Impale.
Flip is the best way to delay it, but with that down, it's going to be... Oh no, ROTK.
Good. He was going to die there.
Goodness gracious. No, he was. He's got 4 stuff, man.
That's true, that's true.
That would have been a nice... If you get one of the heroes in the front lines and then just Cogs... They can't get backed up because of the Cogs and you just 4 stuff out, but...
You gotta use that 4 staff right now. The RTK getting gunned up down to about half HP.
Oh,
Blink Silence, YYF in the fight. BKB being activated on Super, but it's not hitting anything. 2-2. Oh man, he's being sieged from all sides. 4 staff back out, but he's out of time left. He's gonna get picked off as well, and Tom Fu Hao doing work.
Yeah,
doing a ton of work.
They get the kill on the Rubik, but that's the only kill they're going to get. YYF, beyond godlike, 11-0 and 18. Ferrari's played a hell of a game as well. He's been involved in 31 of these 40 kills, and GG comes out from Vici Gaming. We're going to game 3, Lumi.
Well, a stomp and then another stomp, but it's the other direction.
Less of it. This game, I feel, was actually really close.
It is actually a lot closer than the score suggested. We keep saying it throughout, but Vici Gaming had a stage of the game where they were completely even.
Yeah, this game was even for the longest time, but then IG, it was when they picked up the gem to me. Picking up the gem, they started to snowball from that point onwards.
Also, I think the mech finally ending up on Banana was kind of the backbreaker. So, yep, we're going to go into game number 3. IG convincingly takes this one. We might see a Lifestealer respect bank against YYF or at least a pick, because you cannot give this guy his Lifestealer. It's just too insane.
Yeah, they even first picked that, recognizing that this is a hero they play well with. I think it's a hero that's still worthy of getting first pick as well.
Yeah, so. I agree as well. But game 3 is coming up next. Don't go anywhere, guys. Beyond Summit, we'll be right back.